Hello, my name is Cynthia and welcome to my Flosstube channel. I'm happy to be here with you today to talk to you about my stitching, show you some things I've made, some things I plan to make, and a few new projects that I've started. I had intended to be back sooner, as I often start my videos. The bottom sort of fell out after my last video. We had a couple of things come along that were pretty difficult. We lost the best man in our wedding, one of our best friends. Died of a heart attack at age 49, leaving behind 4 kids. Luckily, they were all grown, but it really took the wind out of our sails. Just very sad. And then had a lot of travel and just lots of things that came up, and some of them bad, some of them good. I also actually got a new job, 20 to 30 hours a week, working for a mentor program, which is using my social work background and working with schools and churches. I'm really excited about it. I might tell you more about it coming up in the future, especially if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area of Texas. But it has taken away a lot of my stitching time and made me feel a little discombobulated, as all new jobs do. As much as I love it, it's still a large learning curve and has me feeling just a little bit off balance. So I'm trying to get back into being creative, which always does make me feel better and kind of give me joy like no other. So let me share what I have for you today. It's all patriotic, and let's just go ahead and get started. I have some previous finishes. I was going to show you a basket, but it's looking a little bit draggled today, so I'm just going to show you some different elements. This one is a previous finish from probably a couple years ago, maybe 3, that I've always enjoyed. It's Pineberry Lane. I couldn't remember that the last couple times I've shared, but this pattern is, I think, a PDF that you can get online on Etsy, or not on Etsy, on Pineberry Lane's website. And the little girl there can be stitched in blue or in white. It's shown both ways, and I liked it on this vintage country mocha in white. This was one of my metallic experiments where I decided to do her little crown there in a DMC like metallic silver thread, and it's prettier in person. It's kind of hard to tell on the camera, but it does sparkle, and I had some fun with that. It's a big contrast on a primitive piece to have a sparkly crown, but why not? And I finished this kind of like, I call it my pot holder finish, where I basically just put wrong sides together and stitched around the top. I folded this up because I didn't really know what to do at the bottom. It had some extra space, and I thought it looked good with this kind of grungy, what's this called? Ticking stripe. You get that at Hobby Lobby, and it comes grungy like that. The star fabric, I believe I got at Joann's, but I can't find it anymore. And the ribbon, also probably either Walmart or Hobby Lobby, but this little red gate I got on Zulily, which is an online boutique, and I haven't seen it lately. I don't really shop with them anymore, but I know some friends have found these little stands. They're probably made in China at different, craft stores or stitching stores, but it has the little clips at the top, and I change it out all year long. So it's good for Christmas and Valentine's, of course, and I love the little Pineberry Lane. I think it's called Hurrah. I hope so. That's what it says there on the lettering. It's a really quick stitch. So that's a favorite perennial. And then this one I have shown a couple times. It's been a while though, and this is just, I always like to have a company it's with stitching. I think it makes your display so much more interesting. And these are the perfect thing because they're basically just scraps. So you use muslin to stitch these stars. Then I've painted it with some watered down acrylic. So they are kind of crunchy. They're not soft, but it helps them to hold the body. Sorry, I've got some blue jays fighting outside my window. They just caught my eye. And then the top layer is not sewn. It's just flat. I had a couple more of these that I used fabric with, but these were my painted examples. So you can really, really do them cheaply. And this is from Chestnut Junction. I've used tons of her stuff, and it's just $1.99 on Etsy. So you, I like to, I mean, you can make this without the pattern, but I like to support the designer's idea by purchasing the $2 pattern and giving her credit, because I didn't come up with this on my own. This pin was, I think, from an American Legion. Is that the right word? From a great-grandmother's, in fact, you can almost see it. That jewelry box right there was my great-grandma's, and this was in the bottom. So I like having things like jewelry pieces or brooches. If you have some that you've inherited, it's nice to put them out instead of leaving them in a box that you never look at. So that way I get to pull these out every year. And I had one other embroidery piece. I like to do different kinds of stitching. I'm going to show you another pattern I just got. This is just something I made up myself with just a freehand USA, and then it's, again, wrong sides together, stitched around. I must have left one end open and filled it because this one doesn't have a split on the back. I'm not sure how I did that exactly, because I usually slit the back and then stitch it up, but this one I just did front. So you can always do little messages like that, primarily little things that are short, but filling in with a display like this, it just helps your basket look, or your different trays look cute. So those were some previous finishes that I wanted to show you. Let me show you the new stuff I've been up to. I have had this particular pattern hanging around for way too long. This is Stars and Stripes Forever by Bent Creek. I've done Easter Bunny Row, I think it's called, and I have Trick or Treat Row, which I don't think it's called that, but it's basically says trick or treat, smell my feet. And I just really like the horizontal patterns, things that are not all the same size, so that they kind of break up your display and they look really nice in a hutch. I found this from Priscilla. She had it on Stitching with the Housewives way back. And I know I've seen this pattern around, probably at like local needlework stores, or Fat Quarter Shop has had it from time to time. I can't remember where I found it. It was probably 3 or 4 years ago. And I really didn't like stitching these pinwheels on the edge. I got better at it this time at the end, but it just took forever to finish, and I was so ready for it to be done. I also glued it onto this board, but one of my magnets did not stick, so I'm gonna have to fix it. It will fall on its own. But here's the finish of Stars and Stripes Forever. That is what it's called, Stars and Stripes Forever by Bent Creek Row. I finished it on some mat board that I laced, and it's on an even weave 28 count fabric from Hobby Lobby. This one I believe I over dyed with some Rit dye, and my colors were, there's not a lot of colors on this, Crimson by Weeks Dye Works, a navy blue from Threadworks, and I don't remember exactly what it's called. It might be Deep Blue Sea, or I have like 10 yards of it. It's a really pretty dark blue. And then just an ecru. And then the actual letters are Country Redwood by Gentle Arts. And they turned out okay. I did like the variegation in Country Redwood, but I'm not sure I would have picked it if I had done it today. I had so many mistakes in this. I'm not going to point them all out. You can probably see a few. The spacing isn't perfect, but I was able to pretty easily adjust. Like if I got off on one letter, I would just make sure that I was counting carefully for these little flags on the top. And I noticed this, it was funny, the pattern doesn't have all of those flags on it. Where it shows the stripes there, there's no flag up there, but when I went to stitch it, there are 2. So I was trying to figure out how that happened, but the model apparently was changed in the pattern. But that's fine. It looks really cute. And then I have these pip berries. They They come in a roll at Hobby Lobby. I usually have a cream set on this with my Easter Bunny row, but I found these red, white, and blue ones this year at Hobby Lobby. This bow is I think I got this ribbon at Joann's. It's hard to find primitive 4th of July stuff. I say that all the time, but it's usually very bright red, and that's just not my jam. So when I find some primitive ribbon, I'm going to use it lots of different ways. And I have an old button on there and a piece of antiqued lace. So not a big bow. That's all the ribbon I had, or it might have been just a little bit bigger, but I thought it just needed a little something. And it just leans in my hutch. This was, like I said, the finish for my Easter Bunny row, and it's a board that I covered with cheesecloth. I was experimenting with making signs at one point, and it wasn't something that I could write on, so I had it just stuck in a closet. And then I put these 2 pieces of mat board, and it's black mat board. I would probably chosen blue, but I didn't have time to redo the whole thing, and I'm just happy that it's out and that it's off of my whip list. So there's Stars and Stripes Forever on a board. I have, let's see, 3 freebies. No, one of them was not a freebie. Let me start with that one. This pattern I got a lot of love on Instagram from. This is by Rosa. I believe that's her name. Esther Marjanovic. And yeah, Rosa design. I thought this pattern was now available, but it seems to only have been published in the Punch Needle Primitive Stitcher magazine from, I think it's summer 2018. You can buy single issues of Punch Needle Primitive Stitcher magazine, and this was a very good issue. I've made multiple patterns out of it, and it is called, let's see, where's the name of this pattern? Stars and Stripes by Rosa. So if you're looking 2018 summer issue, Punch Needle Primitive Stitcher magazine. I love the berry bowl of stars. I had never seen that quite like that. And of course I did it quite a bit different. And I haven't figured out what I'm going to do with this just yet. I used my own version of Murky. I always appreciate the way a white or a cream thread pops on a dark fabric. I wanted this to be pretty grungy. So Murky is really not that hard to make. I mean, I know it's not perfectly like Murky, but this kind of a fabric is basically taking your fabric. This is a piece of, I think, 16 count Aida, and just wetting it, balling it up, putting, let's see, how did I do it first? I think first I do black, just a little bit of black, which doesn't get super dark. And then don't stir the fat or the dye, just let it soak on that. Don't move it, or it will fill in these distressing parts there, those parts that don't take the dye. Take it out, do a vat of Rit dye in tan, and I might have added like some coffee in there too, some instant coffee, and then pour it over everything. It kind of mutes down the black, and it fills in, those spots were white before, and it just antiques everything. So I've had pretty good luck with that, even for an Aida, which usually doesn't take the dye as well. I just really like the way it turned out. And the pattern showed a row of berries at the top, but I was really kind of over this pattern by that point, and I was like, I'm good with it just at the bottom. And then what I decided to do is make it sort of like a flag. I had just this little scrap of this stars, the same fabric I showed in that last video, in that last finish from Pineberry Lane. And then I got this new fabric from Hobby Lobby. I thought it was really cute. It looks kind of like the stripes of a flag. So I don't know what I'm going to do with this yet. I thought it would fit on a board that I have, but it's too big. And I really did like the flag, so I think I'm going to do it into a pillow, kind of a larger pillow, excuse me. But I am completely out of fill. I usually just use the cheap fiber fill from Hobby Lobby, but I've been wanting to use some nicer stuff. I know Kathy was showing some from Sews and Sews that she gets online from Joann's, and I think I'm going to try it because I've run out of sawdust. I think I'm out of walnut shells too, and I wouldn't necessarily want it for something this big. So I'm going to look for some of that really soft fiber fill and probably make a pillow. Hopefully I can show you next time. But I did what I could before I realized I don't have any filling left. So here it is. And I did do a little top stitch on this because I just thought it looked a little bit more finished. I think it's really cute. So I'll probably just lay it out for now, but it will be stuffed eventually. And then I have 2 freebies. This one I can't find online. I think some designers, it's another Sub Rosa. Yes, it says free pattern on it. So I know it was free at one point. I found it on Pinterest. And what I think I did, it's been so many years that I can't remember, is just copy and paste it from my phone. It is almost illegible to see. The grid is teeny tiny. In fact, I had to make some notes to myself about how wide the flowers are, how tall, and I didn't try to do that Sweet Land of Liberty that was written in there. I just left that off and I put 1776 on either side. So here's how it turned out. I thought it was so cute. It was a tiny scrap of vintage country mocha. I used the same color palette I've used on all my Patriotic stuff. Actually, I'm not right. I used a palette from a new start that I'm about to show you. So this is not Country Redwood. It is 3777. In fact, it's right in front of me. I'm pretty sure that's the right number. It's a very reddish brown, but I still like it. Where is it? It's not 3857. I'm pretty sure it's 3777. Oh, I'm almost out of it. That's why I couldn't find it. Yeah, it's 3777. So it's almost tomatoey, but it's a real pretty primitive red in my opinion. And then the ecru and that blue is actually almost a teal color. I believe it's 924. Yeah, and that's what Paulette used in my Plum Street start that I'm going to show you. So I copied it because it was already just in my lap. And I made the own colors. It's a very quick stitch. I'm pretty sure I did it in 2 days, just a couple evenings by the TV. And I think this shape was really challenging. I didn't have because I told you it was just a copy and paste from Pinterest. I didn't have a template that was like formally in a pattern or something. So I literally used a ruler and drew on the underside of this linen with a pencil. And then sewed right sides together with this ticking from Hobby Lobby. And after that, I kind of top stitched this rickrack, and I'm probably not doing that right. It got a little bit too far over on one side, but for the most part, it got pretty close. This is some red that I over dyed with coffee, so some of it's a little darker. I wish it was all this dark, but I just felt like it needed some trim around it. If I'd had some chenille, I might have used that. I wish it was a little more prim, but it's still pretty, I think. And it did kind of highlight. The shape of the pattern had a kind of blunt end on the heart and a blunt top. So it's almost like a triangle or like a piece of pie. But the bow and the top really makes it for me. I love that antique button from my grandma's button box that I found. It's kind of brassy and it's missing some of the paint, but that makes it look more grungy. And I might put like a date on the back of this or something, but it's just a cute little thing for a basket to fill. I even used dark thread to close on the side, and I was like, it's all good. It's primitive. I'm not going to mess with it. So there is that Sub Rosa finish. And then the second freebie from Sub Rosa, they kind of go together because they have the same ribbon, was this really pretty strawberry freebie. And you can find the pattern to this. It will print off with really good grids, and you can really tell. I did change it. I think I looked all over. Sometimes I look online to see if other people have made this, because this is probably 10 years old or longer. You know, how did they finish it? They, I think, put these rickrack ends, because when you finish the strawberry, it's like a wedge with rickrack up and down the side of stitches. I think it's supposed to be right together. But when I did that, it made it almost like a carrot. Like, I know that's more of a vintagey berry style, but I didn't really like it. And so I cut it just a little bit bigger, and I wish I hadn't sewn those on there, but that's okay. They still look kind of cool. It's just, I don't think I needed to. When it all was said and done, the way I finished it, it wasn't necessary. But I used my Sari silk on top to make it kind of fluffy and old. And then I have an old grungy button. In fact, I think that must have been like damaged because all the like plastic is chipped off of it, but I love it. And I I'm going to put a hanger on this probably and kind of possibly hang it, but it needs more stuffing a little bit. But like I told you, I was at the very bottom of my bag. I don't think I've ever used a full bag of fill before. Maybe, but it's been a long time and I got to the very bottom. So there's my Patriotic Strawberry by Sub Rosa. It's on, let's see. This linen was so pretty. I bought it as a sample, like a little 8 by 10 piece or something, or maybe a little bigger, but it's, oh gosh, I think it's smoke blue. It's just 36 count Edinburgh by Zweigart, and I want more of it. It's so pretty. It would look really pretty in my bedroom too for a sampler. White shows up nice on it. That's just one strand over 2 on 36. So these two, like I said, they sort of go together because they're the same designer and I use the same ribbons, and I just think they're so cute. Just pretty things. That was my 4 finishes. I have, like I said, a couple starts that I wanted to share, and then a little bit of new patterns that I am going to start and that are super fun, and then I'll be done. Okay, I purchased 3 new patterns for Mother's Day. One I'm not going to do right now, but I'll go ahead and show you. I got it from Jen's Stitch Niche. This is Flowers of Eden by, oh, I know your name. Hands to Work. Is it Tracy? She has a Flosstube. Yeah, instructions from Tracy. Tracy's super sweet. She's commented to me a few times and encouraged me as a designer if I ever wanted to. But she has this kind of unique, almost like Art Deco-y style to me. And I think that Adam and Eve are super quirky and fun on that one. It is not very large. I don't see the stitch count listed. It's on a 40 count. But it's just a funky Adam and Eve, which if you know me, that's right up my alley. And then I also got this hands-on design, Let's Talk Summer. I have a chalk design from Priscilla and Kathy for the summer. I think it's a summer bungalow it's called. It's got roses on it, but I was just not enjoying the Ada, and I didn't feel like stitching a house. I've always wanted to try these patterns just because I think they have sweet sentiments on them and they're just kind of nostalgic and fun, and I really like the way she finishes them. So I did go ahead and make a very small start, but here's the way I organized all the threads. The colors are so pretty. I might have subbed out a few. I always do. I think I used a different teal than she had, and I might have darkened a few, but that's a really sweet color palette. I don't usually work on those boards, but I like it. And oh, here it is. I think I already made some mistakes, but like I said, very small. I just started where it says splash. I dyed this fabric myself. It was a piece of some kind of Hobby Lobby. No, yeah, Hobby Lobby Even Weave. I just darkened it with charcoal and black. But I really like that. I think it looks pretty chalkboardy. So and is that got a needle on it? No. Just some hanging threads. I need to get back to it though. It was frustrating me because I made a mistake, and I'll just probably backtrack, find that mistake, and get back to it. But all I've been doing are the patriotic things, so I'm kind of ready to try to do a little bit of that for the summer. And my big start that I did get quite a bit of work on was Liberty's Welcome. I've had this pattern for a while. There's the title, and then it's kind of sideways. I love Paulette's designs. I love her colors. I had wanted to do patriotic though on a navy blue fabric, which I think I saw I saw All Creatures Great and Small by, why are names so hard for me tonight? I think my brain's just a little bit tired. I might print it up here. I'll think of it later and I can't say it, but I saw this kind of treatment done with this color linen on All Creatures, and I thought, oh, that would be so pretty for Liberty Welcome. I love a white house on a contrasting background. This fabric is Witchelt Twilight Mist. It's 28 count. It was a gift from a subscriber, and I think it's just a beautiful piece of linen. Witchelt is not everybody's favorite, but I don't mind it. It's a little window screeny, if you know what I mean. It's like really stiff and kind of thicker. Is not super soft, but that's okay to me. It gets softer as you work with it. I did a Barbara Anna piece on it, Witchelt, and I am just fine with it. My problem was I had a little pin here because I needed to find the middle. I had to restart this, I think, twice. I put it on Instagram as a start, and then I ended up ripping out everything I had done because I snaked the green up and it was past the top. I hate it when I do that. I just overestimate, oh, this is a huge piece of linen. Yeah, but it's 28 count. So this design is going to be huge. But I'm using all of the called for colors, and they're different than I thought they would be when you see them. And maybe it's because I have them on a blue. But when I saw this pattern, I thought it had a lot of reds and blues, but it actually has more of terracottas and teals, which, like I said, maybe on the white, it looks a little different. And I might change a few of them to be, there are some blues like in the flag and stuff like that too. But this actual border here, which kind of reminds me of like a vintage tablecloth or something from the 50s. I had so much fun with that. I just got frustrated because I had to stitch it twice. So I've kind of got a start on the house there. There's bricks at the bottom. And I made the corner. So there's the whole design. I do want to get this back out. Like I said, I've just been so busy with my new job and traveling. We went to Indiana for the Southern Baptist Convention, which we do every year, kind of follow that for our vacation. It takes us to a different city. I've never been to Indiana before. It felt like, what's that old movie, Pleasantville? It was so pristine. All the landscaping was so pretty there. It was a very pretty little town, or it's not tiny. Indianapolis is big, but it felt very clean and so Midwestern compared to Dallas and Fort Worth, which is hot and deserty. And it was 65 degrees in the morning when we woke up. So nice. We got to visit Holiday World, which is like a giant amusement park. My kids are 10 and 12, and so that was right up their alley. I realized very quickly that I am way too old for roller coasters. I'm almost 50, and I was going up one and thought, I feel like a paint can at Walmart being shaken in that paint shaker. My neck the next day hurt so bad, and I was like, okay, no more roller coasters for me. But we had a lot of fun together, and I loved watching my kids have fun. That was why you go, right? That would not be my choice. My choice would be to go to Barnes & Noble and drink coffee and read books. And here's Gandalf saying hello. Oh, and while I was there, since I'm going to... No, hang on just a minute. I lost my train of thought. I had two of the new starts, like I showed you, the Liberty's Welcome and the Let's Talk Summer. Very, very small start on that, but I will continue to work on those. I wanted to show you some new patterns I picked up though that are both embroidery and like sewing, and a little bit of haul that I picked up. And before I forget, I wanted to point out this haul. When I was speaking about going to Indiana, I have admired these saris that they sell from different, I think it's a different agency, but this one, I kept the card. It's called connections.org, and I'll link that below. It's a fair trade handcraft for ladies in Calcutta, India, to recycle saris. And you know, I use my sari silk in my finishes all the time, and I love ethnic kind of patterns. That's just something that I don't know if it appeals to the embroiderous kind of background or interest that I have, but this particular pattern I thought was so gorgeous. I love this. This is my favorite red. And it's supposed to be like a throw. The back side is kind of funky. It's got pinks and lots of swirls, but I love black and red together. And I'm going to wear this like to church over a black dress. I'll totally wear this as a shawl. It's kind of got that large stitch quilting all over it. It's two saris put together, and I just thought it was beautiful. So I will link that site below. I've seen these before at different ethnic places, but ethnic stores like probably World Market, places like that have these, but it was a little bit of a splurge for me. I've wanted it for 5 years though, and since I got a new job, I went ahead and splurged for it, and I think it's so pretty. So that was a little bit of haul. I showed you my Flowers of Eden from Tracy at Hands to Work, and then I got some Etsy patterns that are kind of some that I've never seen before. This is some embroidery, and it's called Mini Snap Crackle Pop by the Basket Case. I'll probably use some trims on the edge and make just some cute little firecracker pillows. Those are done, of course, with embroidery, and I intend to get that done within the next week or so. And the next thing, I might probably get a start on these. I don't know if I'll have time to finish it, but I hope to. I've wanted to do an Uncle Sam and Lady Liberty doll for quite a while. I've pinned a bunch on Pinterest, and I've not found a pattern that was something I felt like I could make, or be affordable. Sometimes they'll sell the finished dolls for a couple $100. This pattern was not that much, maybe $3.99. The Country Cupboard, again on Etsy. It's Lady Liberty and Sam. There's also a little pillow at the bottom with like fabric applique. I didn't really have any interest in doing that though, but I thought that the Lady Liberty and Uncle Sam were really cute. I have that Santa Claus wool that I've used. I might make her hair gray, in fact, and curly, but I also have some tin that is like tin ribbon that's patterned really pretty. I wanted to make a crown out of it. So I'm going to use the pieces I've been collecting to deviate just a little bit, but I want to at least get these, you draw it on muslin, cut it out, stitch it together. I want to at least get the form done next time to show you, and then I'll work on all the different finishes. I don't know if those eyes are painted or if they're sewn. I can't remember, but the piece looked pretty doable. So, and of course, the more you do it, the more you feel like you can take things on. I've made quite a few little scarecrows and things, so definitely going to try to get them cut out and at least started this year. And was there another pattern I had? I feel like I'm missing one. I definitely wanted to do the pumpkin and I had a couple more freebies, just FYI. You've probably seen these before. I wanted to tackle this one this year. This one's only like 40 by 90. It's tiny, by Barbara Anna, and I've seen a lot of people do this one as well. So I really wanted to do these this year. I might just allocate a piece of fabric for them, but I'm kind of feeling over patriotic stitching as we get into July. I think I'm going to do Christmas. I'll talk to you about that a little bit at the end. And here's another one that I like from the I've got it upside down, Stone Street Stitch Works. It is a tiny little bird. I even have a piece of fabric from my Huck Run on there, and that would be super, super cute and simple. So if I have some time, I might get to those. And this one I think is from Teresa Kogut. Rosa, can you see? That's just on her blog, I believe. I'm not even really sure where it came from, but I'm pretty sure it's, you know what? It might be Not Forgotten Farm. That might be Lori. I'm sorry, Lori, if you're watching. This is just such a cute primitive piece though. And yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, I think it's Lori. I think it's Lori Brecklin from Not Forgotten Farm. I forgot you, Lori. I'm sorry. Okay, and then I got a quick little giveaway, and I wanted to say thank you to Lori Schickalone, who I think is just adorable. She's so sweet. She sent this Calvin and Clyde pattern. I commented on it because I've always wanted to do particularly this cat. I love that vintage black cat. If you've watched me for a while, you know I've made several of these, and so this one was on my wish list. Thank you, Lori, for sharing those with me, Calvin and Trixie. And I may not do all the pumpkins around it, but I definitely want to do that cat because I think he's just adorable. So that is all I have, my haul and my new starts and some finishes. And I thank you for showing me grace and still tuning in, even though I've been sort of missing in action. I hope to start some Christmas pieces in July. I might be back in the next 10 days or so to show you those projects, because I'm going to do a few new starts and I have some ornaments I'm working on. So I might show those in the next, like I said, couple weeks, but my job is keeping me pretty busy, and so is my family. We are fighting some colds around here, some summer head colds, so say a prayer for Elijah. And if you have any questions or anything I didn't remember to share, that's entirely possible. Just send a comment down below. I'll put my email down there as well. And as I say at the end of all of my videos, may the favor of the Lord our God be upon us and establish the work of our hands. That's found in Psalms 90 verse 17. I'm a little bit rusty, y'all. Have a happy 4th of July. Goodness, my brain is not firing on all cylinders. Have a happy July if you're in America. Happy Independence Day. And if you're not, I hope you're enjoying your summer or whatever season you're having right now. Take care.